I'm just a love machine 2 years and 12 days. Story poem.
Dante Cunningham is my name. I was born in June of '94. It was obvious I was a few years late, but finally I walked through those doors. There were a lot of written forms, signatures of consent, and after I agreed, inside the factory I went. There was a woman in charge that sat behind a table with three people besides her. Her attitude was unstable. Then why work here? I asked inside my head. People like that are always angry but never leave their jobs instead. So then she explained the rules and told me where to stand in front of a moving walkway that was the color of sand. She told me I would stand still, but on this moving machine will be every lover I'll ever have, and I felt like I was in a dream. Every person I will ever love will get their turn to come before me and present to me what I'll learn. So the big green light by the doorway flashed on and off, and the floor started to move. I let out a nervous cough. Sliding in from the doorway came woman number one, my first love, Jacqueline Patrice Nunn. Her name displayed on a tiny screen, a screen hanging near her heart. It said her nickname was Jackie, that we met in the food mart. And as I stared into Jackie's eyes, I was engulfed by her beauty, her hair in a messy bun, her attitude slightly snooty. Trust, yelled the woman in charge, and how to give affection, how to be selfless, and a long list of more lessons. And as she kept on shouting, I grew weak in my knees while smiling at Jackie as if someone yelled cheese. As Jackie smiled at me back, I glanced down at her screen. It started to count up, and I wasn't sure what it means. It counted up by days, and it started moving pretty fast. Soon it was counting months, then years had already passed. Meanwhile, Miss Mean Lady was still calling from her list. Compromise, she yelled, and some other stuff I had missed. And on Jackie's screen, the counting had finally stopped. On 2 years and 12 days, my smile had suddenly dropped. Because after the counting ended, the woman stopped yelling, and the walkway started moving to a woman named Ellen. Ellen also had a tiny screen, and it too counted up. Miss Mean yelled out a few things, then stopped as if she was stuck. Ellen's list wasn't very long, and her numbers were very small. 1 month and 4 days, and it came in, and in came in a new hall of many different women, lovers of the sort, that moved down the line, some tall and some short. But as these women came through, my smile just wasn't as wide as it was with Jackie, and I had to ask myself why. Because these other women were nice, and they each taught me something, but I kept looking down at Jackie. I was obsessed with that woman, and Jackie knew it too. I'm sure she did this before. Started years before I did, still before this moving floor. Yes, I must have been in Jackie's line, along with so many others, that, at least for right now, we can't stop staring at each other. And I knew I wouldn't care about whoever would come next, so I decided to just walk away from my up and coming ex. But she grabbed me by the arm. Her screen read Maya Monroe, but it also read fiance, so she wasn't letting me go. And at the beginning of the line, Jackie looked at me quite sad. Someday I'll propose to Maya, and now I just felt bad. Jackie turned her head down, turned her head. She needed to look away. Though Maya was my fiance, I knew we'd part ways. So I tugged my arm from her and she released me from her grip. Her screen flashed on and off as if it had some sort of glitch. And when it popped back on, it read ex fiance, 1 year and 7 months. So I knew I didn't stay. I immediately ran down the line and back towards Jackie. The woman in charge was angry, but I was way too happy. The mean woman stood, angry at my disobedience. I sped past Rita Lopez and Stacy Demetrius. I ran back into Ellen, but that didn't last long. Her screen read one date, and that was the end of that song. Then finally I made it. As soon as I looked into her face of the first love of my life, the one that could not be replaced, I pulled her off the walkway and pulled her into me. I stared into her eyes, then kissed her on the cheek. She smiled so bright, wrapping her arms around my neck. With my arms around her waist, I gave her more than just a peck. And Jackie's screen lit up, and it started counting again. But this time it didn't stop. I wasn't sure where it began. And the mean woman in charge slowly took her seat after yelling, "True love," and meeting her defeat. So now Jackie's mine, for a lot of lessons learned. Maybe it wasn't right then, but right now is our turn. And Jackie's screen remains on, and it's still counting up. And now I'm truly happy, because she taught me how to love.
Now don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or follow.